Hello, my name is Misty Trussell, and I am a gifted specialist here in Montgomery Public Schools, and my home school is at Dalraida Elementary School, where I work with 3rd through 5th grade students, and I'm so excited to be here today. I'm going to work with writing. I want to talk about journal writing and just talking about how we can turn journal writing into creative writing. So I want to do some things with writing today. And the first thing, I just want to talk to you about, just journal writing and really what that is. Usually with journal writing, you're going to have a prompt, just maybe something to write about, either a topic or your teacher may give you, some choices where you pick from some titles to write about. And today I'm going to use a prompt for our journal writing time to write a short story today. And I just want to share with you my writing prompt, and it's actually called Think About It. And the writing prompt that I have chosen today is, if you could take lessons in anything you wanted, what would you choose to learn? And this is a wonderful topic to write about, because really when you have a journal topic, you can make it your own. You can write about whatever you want as far as what goes along with that topic. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to write about a lesson that I would like to learn, and how I can learn to do that. But I want to teach you some things that I use in my classroom just to help you with writing, because writing can be very frustrating. It can be really tough sometimes, and just to figure out kind of what you're going to put on paper or even what you're going to write about. And sometimes, I've told you that you can have prompts, but sometimes your teacher may let you just write about whatever you want to write about. But today we're going to just kind of focus on a prompt to know what we're going to write about. But to help you with your writing, I want to teach you about how to use an organizer. You may be used to hearing about graphic organizers, but an organizer helps you get your thoughts together before you write a story or write, a full page paper or start your story more in depth. And I have a graphic organizer board that I'm going to use. And if you notice, I have the middle rectangle section. This is going to be used for a specific thing with our paper. And these 4 squares, we kind of call this the 4-square writing graphic organizer. And we're going to use this just to I'm going to use it to gather my thoughts and to just kind of brainstorm and think about what I want to put in my story. And we have our prompt. So I want to read it again. If you could take lessons in anything you wanted, what would you choose to learn? So the first thing we would always do when we have a topic to write about is just to brainstorm, just to kind of, take a moment and think about what your prompt is. And it's okay to do that. You don't have to always talk. You don't always have to just start, writing something. I just want to think about that. So I'm going to model that. I'm just going to kind of think about that for just a minute while I'm thinking about what I'm going to put on my graphic organizer. And now that I've thought about it, I've thought about what lesson I would want to take or what I would want to learn how to do. And when I was younger, I actually took piano lessons for a few years, but I feel like that I really didn't get really good at it, as good as I wanted to get at it. So I would like to take piano lessons again. So what I'm going to do on my graphic organizer, in the center rectangle, this is going to be our title block, or you can call it your title rectangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the topic of what lesson I want to learn about. So I'm going to write piano lessons, because that's what I want to learn. Again, even though I did it a long time ago, I didn't really learn it to where I was really good at it. So I want to learn about piano lessons and how to play the piano better and learn, some harder piano pieces. So this is what I want to take my lessons on. And now what I want to do is I want to add some details. We have our topic, which is piano lessons. And now what I want to do is I want to add some details to go along with our topic. So what I'm going to do in the first block here, I'm just going to put a number 1, because this can be your first sentence of just kind of your thoughts about, maybe why I want to take piano lessons. So I'm going to kind of think about a sentence that goes with my topic on piano lessons. So I'm going to start with my first sentence. I would like to take piano lessons. So my first sentence is going to pretty much tell your topic. You're just kind of having that starter sentence. I would like to take piano lessons. And now what I'm going to do is I can always add more details to this block here because this is just kind of starting. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to my next block. And we're going to label that number 2. And this can be your second sentence. And you're going to see how all this kind of goes together once I finish writing in my information that goes with our topic, piano lessons. Now what I could think of is, since I've told you again that I want to take piano lessons, now maybe I could tell you, why I want to take piano lessons. And I'm going to write a new sentence here. Piano lessons would be fun to take, comma, because I love music. So now we have a second sentence that goes with my lesson that I'm wanting to learn. On piano lessons, we put, I would like to take piano lessons, so I'm telling you what I want to learn. And number 2, the second sentence, piano lessons would be fun to take because I love music. I have a love for music, so I would love to take piano lessons because that just increases that love of music that I have. And if I learn how to play the piano, I can play beautiful music for people. So now we're going to go to our third block, and I'm going to label it number 3. Now I'm going to come up with another detailed sentence that goes along with my topic, which is piano lessons that I want to learn. So I'm just going to kind of think for just a minute. You do that brainstorming and think about what I'm going to write there. I would like to take piano lessons. Piano lessons will be fun to take because I love music. And another reason I would want to take piano lessons is for me, and especially being an adult and being a teacher, now I could help share my piano playing with my students. I would love to share my piano playing with my students. I would love to share my piano playing with my students. So once I take lessons, And because I love music and I can learn how to play the piano, then I can share my piano playing with my students to let them have that exposure to piano music, because some students may not have heard a lot of piano music. So we have 3 sentences, and then my last square, I'm going to put a number 4. This would be my 4th sentence that I write to go along with my journal topic. I would like to take piano lessons. Piano lessons will be fun to take because I love music. I would love to share my piano playing with my students. And my last sentence could kind of tie it all back in. Learning to play the piano would help me feel like I have learned a new lesson. Learning. And do you see how I'm brainstorming too while I'm writing? Learning to play the piano would help me. Actually, learning to play the piano would help me reach a goal that I have for myself. And the good thing about it is when you set up your writing, whatever you have on a graphic organizer, that's not all that you have to put in a final story. You can always add more and more details when you have your paper and you start writing your story, because details is what brings it to life. And that's where that creative writing comes in. The more details that you add, it really makes it more of your story. You're not copying what somebody else has given you. And it kind of gets you to thinking. When you start writing down information, it gets you to thinking about what else you can add to make it more interesting. Because I know, really for me, when I read a story or when I read a writing, somebody's writing a paper, it really sticks with me if it's very interesting. Maybe it's funny, or maybe if you like scary stories, or whatever you like. You can use your imagination, and that's where that creative side can come into, even journal writing. So I want to read back through the 4 sentences that I have. First of all, we have our topic in the topic box in the middle. Then we have number 1, I would like to take piano lessons, because you're really just kind of restating your topic in that starter sentence. You're restating, kind of what you're writing about. Number 2, piano lessons would be fun to take because I love music. I do love music, so this is why I would want to take piano lessons, because it's something new that I didn't really get to finish as a child. Number 3, I would love to share my piano playing with my students. So you can take that love, and for me as an adult, I can go and share it with my students in my classroom once I get better at it. Number 4, and the last sentence can just kind of tie it all together. Learning to play the piano would help me reach a goal that I have for myself. Because when you learn a new lesson, it's kind of like goals too. You might have a goal set for yourself. Like, for example, you may have a goal set that you want to make straight A's. You've got to work at it and get better at it to be able to reach that goal. And we have to learn lessons too, just like this is a lesson to help us reach those goals also. Now, with this graphic organizer, I do want to share just a way that you can create this at home while you're at home, or just when you're at home, during the year. If you don't have like a whiteboard to be able to use expo markers and to have a board like this, you can take a piece of paper and you can actually fold it. You can take a piece of paper and you can fold it into 4ths. And then you can open it up, and then in the center of it, you can make you can put your little topic box, and then you've got your 4 squares to be able to write your sentences and to gather your thoughts with your writing. So I just wanted to share that with you because, you know, we can do this. This is easy. Writing and practicing writing is very easy to do at home too. Or even at school, you know, in your journal, you can divide your paper into your four squares to help you. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move this down because I really want to take our graphic organizer. And now I want to write my story. I've got my piece of paper here. We'll just kind of pretend like this is our piece of paper that we're ready to write our story and write our thoughts on. So what I'm going to do is, and I'm not going to make it too long because, you know, I've got a little bit of space, but I'm going to do a topic sentence. And since we have our topic already in our topic rectangle in the middle of our graphic organizer, I'm going to put my topic sentence at the top of our piece of paper. So we're going to put piano lessons. So I have my topic sentence. I'm going to put that at the top of my paper, piano lessons. And now I'm ready to write my story. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about my 4 sentences that I came up with for my story. And I'm going to start writing the 4 sentences on my piece of paper. So I'm going to start with the first one. I would like to take piano lessons. And remember, when you do write, we do indent. We try to indent just a little bit on that first line when we're writing. So I'm going to go over just a little bit and I'm going to start my story. I would like to take. Now when I come to the next line, I'm going to come over back to the edge of my paper. I would like to take piano lessons, period. So that's my first sentence. Now we're going to go on to the second sentence. Our second sentence that I have is piano lessons would be fun to take because I love music. So I've kind of given you a reason now. I've given you a reason of why I want to take piano lessons. So piano lessons would be fun to take, comma, because I love music. So that's our second sentence that we have added to our paper. My third sentence is, I would love to share my piano playing with my students. So now we're going to start our next sentence. I would love to share my piano playing with my students. Period. So there's our third sentence. And as you can see, all we're doing is we're taking our sentences from our organizer and we're adding it to our paper. That way it just kind of makes it easier to take your thoughts and then put it on your paper. And our last sentence is, learning to play the piano would help me reach a goal that I have for myself. So our last sentence, learning to play the piano would help me reach a goal that I have for myself. So as you can see, we have our 4 sentences. We wrote it on our paper, and we took it from our organizer, and we put it on paper. That way, it just kind of makes it easier for you as far as when you're writing. Now, there's lots of things that we can do to this story to make it more exciting. There's always some things you can add to it. Now, I'm not going to erase what I have, but I can kind of think about, and I just want to kind of think out loud with you of some things that we could think about if I wanted to rewrite this story and make it more interesting or exciting. Maybe what kind of music I would want to play on the piano. Do I like rock and roll? Do I like, more classical, type of music? What kind of, music would I want to learn to play on the piano? And also, let's see, where else could I go and play the piano? Maybe you can play it at home if you learned how to play the piano, or if I learned how to play the piano, or maybe if I wanted to just play it for the school, have a piano and play it for everybody as they come in. So those are just kind of some things that I could think about with my story, just to add to it and to make it more interesting. And I want you to remember that too when you're writing. Don't get discouraged, because writing can be challenging, and it can just make you not want to do it. But I just want to remind you just to not be afraid to write, because if you have organizers, if you have papers that you can set up to get your writing thoughts on paper, or your organizer, that can help you with your stories. And I do hope that, that this helps you with your writing, and I hope that you've learned some things that you can use in your home or at school when you're doing writing activities. And I do want to share some other, just some little quick ideas. I'm going to just call these Trussell's treasures. I just wanted to tell you some things that you could do at home, some little creative activities that you can do with your family. For example, one thing that you could do is, it's called Finish a Story. And what you could do is you can write a story with you and your mom or your grandmother or your aunt or your older brother or sister. But you can write a story or start a story. For example, I would like to take piano lessons, and then you could let somebody else finish that story, and then, give it to somebody else to finish the story. Like, for example, if I gave this to somebody else, they would say, and I would like to start right now taking piano lessons. So just finishing a story and doing a fun little activity with seeing how somebody else would continue a story, that is a fun thing to do with writing with your family. So I just hope that this helps, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and thanks for watching.